So guys, a couple of days ago, I was going through an energetic shift and I noticed it in a bit of a different way. And what this prompted me to reflect on was my own evolution in how I process and move through energetic shifts. And I wanted to unpack that a bit here in this video and to share what I was realizing and share this different way of seeing it. So what I'm feeling is that the timeline, the collective timeline, our individual timelines, like there is a momentum that is happening in 2025. For the spiritual collective, for the mainstream collective, there is undeniably this invitation to continue to embody our higher timelines and also to take it to another level. It feels that, yes, I know most of us are in the dead of winter, but if you just ignore the fact that you want to hibernate and you feel a little bit more sluggish because it's winter, but if you feel beneath the surface of the physical and your own biology, what you can feel is that energetically there is undeniably this accelerating vibration and this invitation to be on this more accelerated timeline. And one of the things that is required to continue to dance with an accelerated timeline is an accelerated way of processing energy and taking yourself through an energetic upgrade. Now, this is something that we will be stepping into as we are embodying who we are as leaders. We are offering our service in a more powerful way, and we are sharing our messages, sharing our vision, and we are just saying now is the time. We are taking ownership for being the conduits for a new frequency, which is going to be the pieces that join together to be our new earth. So as we are assimilating higher frequencies and evolving and moving with our transformation quicker, what we're doing is we are assimilating our true nature, what we are as an infinite being, the stream of our soul. We're assimilating it and integrating it with our human biology and our chemistry. On a non-physical level, we are already the totality. We are already all that there is. That does not need to expand. What the expansion is our human system coming into congruency with that. So the expansion is happening through the embodiment process. As you embody those frequencies, and as you embody it and you vibrate it, you transmit that frequency, and the physical world begins to take on the reflection of that frequency that is more dense with light, that is a more close a reflection of your soul and your essence. So as we're doing this, as we are assimilating these higher amounts of light, there is a speediness that our timeline goes through, as a higher frequency does feel like it is a higher speed. So when we are moving at speed, what slows us down is our being inefficient in our energetic processes. And your timeline will move at quite a fast pace when you are moving through the energetic shifts efficiently, rapidly, and quickly. Now, this cannot happen when you are heavily identified with the mind, the story, the person, the emotional process, and the things that you are letting go of. Or if you are believing that you are what your negative, limiting thoughts say about you. You develop this ability to be so tuned into the energetics of what is happening for your embodiment that you're able to tune out all of the noise of the thoughts, all of the dying echoes of the bits of your mind that are dissolving and disintegrating now, and you are not believing the stories. And there becomes a point where the stories don't even come up anymore because there's nothing in you for them to attach to. They're only coming up when there's chance that they're going to be believed and that they can hook onto you and draw your attention. There becomes a point where the emotions, the stories, the fears, the doubts are this very subtle echo that moves through your field, and it's on the periphery of your awareness, but it's not in the middle of your awareness, like massive. It's just this subtle thing that's passing through, and it passes through quickly when you don't feel the need to hook onto it, when you don't feel the need to grab onto it and to examine it and to find out why this means this and what is this saying about me, all this kind of stuff. This search for meaning, this search for understanding is completely unnecessary, and it is an inaccurate and a lumbering process. What is actually important is the liberation of your energy, the letting go of the conditioned idea that you are what your fears, what your doubts, whatever your trauma or your pain or your suffering says about you. Letting go of the fragmented self, the ways in which you insist on being separate from your true nature, from being separate from your radiance, from being separate from what you are as an infinite being. You don't have to become an infinite being. You just have to stop insisting that you are not that by choosing limiting thoughts, limiting ideas, subscribing to limiting paradigms, all of this stuff. So as you do not believe this stuff and you're not so identified with it anymore, it has less of a hold on you, and you will be aware that it is passing through your system. And it's like, oh yeah, that's nice, but you're not believing the story so much. Now, it can also be a more subtle passing through of your system if you have done a lot of clearing on the particular topic already. You've been working with the emotions, and perhaps it's a recurring theme, and every time it comes back around, you have dropped another layer of it, and it's able to be more seamless. But generally speaking, that more fluid and smooth, and the energy that's being processed and let go of, that passing through you happens, and it is more light and less of a big deal if you've done a lot of work on that before, that same theme, but also if you are just way less identified with the movement of the things that are being dissolved from your system, and you're less identified with the mind, and you're less identified with the person in the story that's going through the thing. On an accelerated timeline, you cannot be so heavily identified with the person, the things, the happenings, the circumstances, because that actually tethers you to a density that is not congruent and not harmonious with an accelerated timeline. It just doesn't work like that. The frequencies are not a match. So as you let go of this identification and this needing to be so personally involved with the movement of energy, you will start to see things speed up. So all of that is to say that what I observed the last day when this was happening was, oh yeah, there's those things that I could potentially believe are true about myself. Oh, I could start to get victimized and start to be like, oh, poor me. Oh, I have this thing. Or I could just recognize that I am in the middle of a transformation. I'm upgrading my timeline. So what I noticed in that moment was that there was this, when your view is not so clouded by the emotional story and the thoughts about it, what is actually happening on an energetic level as you're moving through a timeline shift, an upgrade, a transformation, is that there is a tension playing itself out between who you are now, which is really just the energetic configuration that you are in, the vibration you're in as a result of the hooks that you have to certain frequencies, outdated paradigms. So there is that. And then there is this potential. The new timeline is a vibration. There's a signature. There is that. And you experience the tension between these two things. So this is what you have to pay attention to. The more you focus on these two things, the more you can allow yourself to directly engage with the energetic shift and not be so caught up in the things that aren't important around it. Now, Do you really even need to engage with this tension? Maybe you don't. But sometimes the potential, the leap that you're being invited to embody is trying to get your attention and is asking for your conscious awareness on it, you to say yes to it, for you to let go of your resistance to it, your fear about it, and for you to embrace it. So if you become aware of this tension happening for you, really work with that potential and say yes to it. Say yes. Feel it. Communicate with it energetically and see what it is asking of you. There will be things that you're being asked to let go of. And maybe you don't feel it so much in the beginning, but you will start to feel it the more you resonate that, the more you let it in. And the things that are tethering you to the current paradigm, the one that is outdated, the one that you're letting go of, these things are unconscious. But if you recognize this tension and you give your awareness to that, the version that you're starting to embody, and you give your awareness to the present version, what starts to become available to you is where you are tethered to a lower paradigm. You start to see the hooks, and then you can make straight your hooks. Like Nisargadatta says, make straight your hooks and let go of the way in which the world has a hold of you. I'm not sure the exact quote, how it goes, but he basically says, make straight your hooks. So as you shine your awareness on it, you can see where you're tethered, you can see where you're hooked. And really, this is the only important thing. Of course, work through the emotional energy if you have it, but you might not even have it. You might have worked through so many beliefs and ideas and perspectives in the past that there isn't actually an emotional process that you need to go through. It is just energetic. It is just, okay, goodbye, I let go, I recalibrate to this, boom, I jump, that's it. Sayonara the old. Oh, the tension is now fading because the tension can only exist when this is holding you strong. But when this is no longer holding you strong, there will not be that tension there. So that is it. I feel like you can all understand why it is important to embrace an accelerated way of upgrading, of working through your themes, and embracing more of what you are here to embody, what you are here to share, and bringing it into manifestation, bringing it into your reality. It is so important that we become more liberated from the affliction of the conditioned self. There is no point in trying to fix it from that conditioned perspective and believing that we are these broken, fragmented beings, because we're simply not that. There's no fixing that. There's no fixing an illusion. All there is to do is to get free from the illusion and to let go of where it has a hold on you and to let yourself be free. That is the work. We don't really need to prioritize having such elaborate personal processes all of the time. It is lumbering, it's inefficient, and it's simply not true. It's just a play of the illusion. All we need to do is bring it into light, bring it into our awareness, bring it into recognition, and free ourselves from it. Let go of it. That is it. It is as simple as that. And I know how hard it is to accept the simplicity of things. Well, I personally don't find it hard, but to be honest with you guys, no offense, but I do observe this in so many people, that there is a fundamental difficulty to accept the simplicity of how easy it is to upgrade, to shift, to recognize that you are infinitely and always free, to accept the liberation that is available to you. And I get it, compassion. There is a lot of indoctrination to ideas and dogmatism that says that we are not able to access that ourselves. I get it. However, let go of that stuff. Accept that it's simple, accept that it's available, accept that it is here for you now. Accept that it can happen in this lifetime. It can happen in this moment, not just this lifetime. When I say accept that it can happen in this lifetime, I mean on a more of a widespread scale of your incarnational journey, in a bigger way. It happens when you decide. It happens when you accept that it is simple. Accept that working through processes and catalysts and difficulties can be simple. Choose not to struggle. Or choose not to suffer and struggle, really. Both of these things are optional. Up to you if you want to choose them. You don't have to. There is just the reality of what is. Get clear about what is going on for you right now. See the tension between where you're at now and where you're going. And release that tension by releasing what is tethering you to the here, to the now. Of course, if you have emotions, work through them. This is not a video to say you should not give space to your emotions. I actually believe very strongly that it is very important to allow energy to move, to allow energy to be freed. But what I'm saying is just, don't get so caught up on it. Don't get so, it's not that significant, okay? All right, guys. Sending you all so much love.